Most people believe that working harder automatically leads to financial success, but reality tells a different story. If effort alone created wealth, construction workers and nurses would be millionaires, yet they remain financially stuck. The truth is uncomfortable. Hard work without strategy keeps you busy, exhausted, and broke at the same time. Millions of Americans grind every single day, doing everything right, yet their bank accounts never seem to move. This isn't about laziness or lack of discipline. It's about systems designed to keep hard workers permanently behind. The gap between effort and outcome grows wider each year, and most people never understand why it happens. Michael Anderson is 34 years old, with light skin and medium-length black hair that waves naturally and casually. He lives alone in a modest one-bedroom apartment in a mid-sized American city, close enough to avoid long commutes. Michael works as a senior operations coordinator for a logistics company, a position that values availability over creativity or leverage. He is dependable, always present, rarely missing work, almost never refusing overtime, and constantly available after hours. Michael doesn't see himself as bad with money. He pays bills on time and avoids overdrafts consistently. He believes that working hard and staying responsible will eventually lead to financial progress. Just like he was taught, money, in his mind, is something earned through effort and time, a simple equation that should work predictably. He trusts the system because he follows the rules: show up, work overtime, stay available, and repeat. Spending feels like recovery rather than indulgence, a way to compensate for exhaustion and long hours at work. Michael checks his bank balance casually, not anxiously, expecting stability, but never experiencing true surplus or meaningful growth. He views saving as something that happens after expenses, not as a priority decision made before spending begins. Financial conversations make him uncomfortable because they expose a gap between effort and outcome he can't easily explain. Deep down, Michael believes he's doing everything right. Yet something invisible keeps pulling his money away each month. Michael's workdays regularly extend beyond 8 hours, especially during busy periods when the company needs extra coverage. His phone remains nearby, even late at night, and he's often online after hours, responding to urgent messages. His gross monthly income averages around $6,000, occasionally higher when overtime bonuses apply to his paycheck. After taxes, health insurance, and other deductions, his net monthly income settles around $4,500. Rent takes $1,650 each month, a fixed cost that arrives before anything else gets paid. Utilities average $280. Internet and phone costs $160, and his car payment plus insurance total $520. Groceries typically run about $350 per month, a baseline that rarely changes regardless of careful planning. Long days lead to frequent restaurant meals, takeout, and convenience purchases, adding roughly $700 to $900 monthly. Want subscriptions? Minor discretionary spending and impulse purchases are included. Michael usually reaches month's end with less than $200 remaining. From the outside, his finances appear stable, but effort and income remain disconnected from any sense of forward movement. Payday brings a brief sense of reassurance, a quiet confirmation that his work has value and that bills will clear. Within hours, automatic deductions pull money toward rent, utilities, insurance, and loan payments before he even sees the balance. Michael treats small purchases as rewards for effort. A coffee Eddie lunch out there, nothing excessive in isolation. But these decisions compound quietly across the month, turning $40 into $400 without triggering any internal alarm. He doesn't track spending closely because it feels responsible enough. Bills are paid and overdrafts are avoided consistently. When fatigue hits after long shifts, convenience becomes the default choice. Takeout replaces cooking, and subscriptions pile up unnoticed. Michael occasionally buys something impulsively, a gadget or upgrade, justifying it as deserved after weeks of uninterrupted hard work. He avoids looking at his credit card balance until the statement arrives, preferring not to calculate the total too early. Each month mirrors the last. The same income, the same expenses, the same $200, disappearing without clear explanation. Savings never accumulate because there's always something urgent. A car repair, a medical copay, or an unexpected bill. Michael prioritizes today's needs over future plans. Not because he's careless, but because tomorrow always feels uncertain and far away. He believes he's spending reasonably, yet the gap between earnings and leftover money never closes, no matter how hard he works. Trade-offs happen silently. Eating out replaces meal prep, streaming services replace free time, and convenience replaces intentional choice. Money flows out as quickly as it flows in, creating a cycle that feels stable but produces zero financial movement. Michael works harder every month, accepts extra shifts, stays available constantly, yet his bank account never reflects that effort. This pattern isn't new. It's been repeating for years, the same cycle of effort and exhaustion producing identical outcomes. Every January, Michael tells himself this year will be different. But by March, the habits return and nothing actually changes. Paychecks arrive predictably, expenses leave just as predictably, and the space between them stays frozen regardless of overtime hours. He works more when bills pile up, yet working more only delays the problem without solving the underlying pattern. Fatigue drives spending. Spending creates stress. Stress increases fatigue, and the cycle loops back on itself month after month. Michael notices his co-workers living similarly. Everyone working hard, everyone stressed, everyone wondering why money feels so tight. Small expenses accumulate into large totals, but because they arrive slowly, the pattern stays invisible until the month ends. He's been in this apartment for 4 years, earning more than when he started. Yet his financial position hasn't moved. The harder Michael works, the more justified his spending feels, creating a loop where effort enables the same behaviors. This part is uncomfortable, but important. Effort without strategy doesn't build wealth. It only maintains exhaustion and repetition. Sarah is also 34, works in the same industry, and earns a similar salary of around $6,000 monthly. But Sarah treats her income differently. She automates $500 into savings before paying anything else each month. She cooks most meals at home, limits takeout to twice weekly, and cancels subscriptions she doesn't actively use. Her rent is slightly lower at $1,400, achieved by choosing location over apartment size and amenities. Sarah's car is older and paid off completely, saving her $520 monthly that Michael still pays. After 5 years of consistent saving and investing, Sarah has $32,000 in assets and zero high-interest debt. David is 36, also works full-time, but started a small side project 3 years ago that now earns $800 monthly. He used that extra income to pay off credit cards aggressively, eliminating $250 in monthly interest payments. David now invests the freed-up money into index funds, compounding growth without requiring more hours at his main job. Same effort, same starting point. But different rules created entirely different financial outcomes over just a few years. Michael begins noticing something uncomfortable. His effort level stays high, but his financial position stays completely flat. He realizes that working more hours doesn't change the outcome. It only delays the moment when the pattern repeats. The difference between him and others isn't discipline or intelligence. It's the invisible rules governing where money flows. For the first time, Michael questions whether the problem is effort or the system he's been following automatically. He starts tracking expenses for 1 month, not obsessively, just writing down where money actually goes each day. The numbers reveal a pattern he hadn't seen before. Small, justified purchases adding up to $900 monthly. Michael recognizes that convenient spending isn't occasional, it's systematic, triggered by fatigue and lack of structure. He sees clearly now that his financial rules were never designed by him. They were inherited and repeated without examination. No one warns you about this. Working hard without intentional systems only produces exhaustion, not wealth or forward movement. Clarity doesn't feel empowering at first. It feels uncomfortable. But it's the starting point for something different. Michael decides to test a different approach, automating $300 into a separate savings account on payday. The money leaves before he sees it, removing the daily decision and making saving automatic rather than optional. He negotiates his car insurance down by $120 annually by comparing rates and switching providers. Michael cancels 4 subscriptions he rarely uses, freeing up $65 monthly without losing anything meaningful. He sets one rule for takeout: twice per week maximum, planned in advance. Replacing impulse decisions with intentional choices. This doesn't feel restrictive because it's a system, not willpower. And systems remove the need for constant decision-making in your life. Michael starts meal prepping on Sundays, cutting grocery waste, and reducing convenience spending by roughly $400 monthly. He tracks the highest interest debt and redirects an extra $200 toward it each month, prioritizing freedom over comfort. These changes don't require more effort or more hours. They require different rules applied consistently over time. It looks like progress, but it isn't dramatic yet. The real shift happens when small systems compound across months. 1 year from now, if Michael maintains these systems, he'll have saved $3,600 without increasing his work hours. His highest interest debt will be reduced by $2,400, cutting monthly interest payments by roughly $45. Freed up cash flow means less stressed or unexpected expenses, and emergencies stop feeling like financial disasters. Michael's energy shifts because the connection between effort and outcome becomes visible again. Effort finally produces forward movement. 5 years from now, with consistent investing and compounding, that same system could produce $35,000 in accessible assets. He won't need to work more hours or chase promotions desperately. The system builds wealth independently of constant effort. This version of Michael has options: career flexibility, emergency stability, and freedom to choose opportunities without financial panic. The difference isn't talent or luck. It's the gap between effort without direction and effort guided by intentional systems. Hard work matters, but hard work without financial strategy only maintains the cycle. It doesn't break it or build wealth. Michael's story isn't about failure. It's about the invisible gap between effort and outcome that most people never examine. He works harder every month, yet his money never seems to move until the day he changes the rules.